Hey everyone, DJ Nubis here with you on the Metal Radio podcast, doing another YouTube video. This time I'm updating my spiders and my isopod cleanup crew mix that I'll be talking about a little bit. But I just wanted to give you an update on my progress of my spiders I have. Tarantulas, I have a pumpkin patch, pink toe, avic, and also a striped knee. So I'm going to kind of just give you some updates on them real quick. As far as patches, our pumpkin patch tarantula, she's a dwarf species of tarantula. When I got her, she was maybe about the size of my fingernail. So she was basically a sling when I got her, probably about 8 or 9 months ago. And since then, I've been able to feed her and keep her going. And she's kind of like in her new enclosure, which is a smaller, I think it's like 8x6 or something like that around there, or 8x12, something like that. But she's still been kind of just hiding in her little crevice there. So I'm just going to show you a picture of her before I moved her over to her new enclosure. This is her here, obviously. And she's still about that size right now, but I think she wasn't eating anything today, so I'm assuming now she's probably preparing. She's webbed up her little corner there, so I think she's getting ready to molt again, which is good news because obviously I wanted to get bigger and stronger and a lot of good stuff. Then we have Denny Frajo, and if you missed any of our other videos on the spiders, initially I was kind of hoping for a female avic, but after he molted, we found out that he had hooks and the pedipalps and everything. So clearly he's a male. So we changed it from Freya to Danny Frajo. Yesterday, I actually went to House of Tropicals, which is about 30 minutes from here, where I've got both Frajo and Corella, or striped knee. They actually had a pink toe female in there. I wish I had the funds to go get it because I would like to have her. Not so much that I can breed them. I would try it, of course, but I'm not an expert yet on that part of it. So really, right now, I'm not going in that direction as far as breeding is concerned. There's a lot of other people that do that much better than I am. I'm still learning how to care and maneuver them and handle them. I don't really handle them physically, but just if I have to move from one enclosure to another. So it's still a learning process for me and what to feed them, what they like, because they are finicky. I've been trying mealworms, but of course, Patch is the only one that kind of really responds to the mealworms. Frajo, the pink toe, and the striped knee Corella don't really care about them. They like crickets, so they rather hunt those down and eat those. So here is, I think we'll start with a couple of pictures of Frajo. Not the easiest to see all the time because he does have this big piece of bark that he likes to hide behind, but we'll show a couple of pictures here. You can see the little dark mass up there, so he's kind of just hanging out there with that. Then here's another one. That's Cruella there. Let me just double check here. I have a video of Frajo, so we'll go ahead and play that real quick. And so you can see him. Of course, he has some poop on there. In fact, a couple of days ago, I was peeking in on him, and he took it upon himself to shoot shit right at me through the glass. So that was kind of funny. This wasn't that moment, but this is him kind of like browsing around and looking around. Chances are he's either hunting food, which he did eat a cricket the other day, but he might be also be looking for a mate. They do get sexually active once they molt to a certain degree. There's a video of Patches. She's tucked away down there in her little home. And again, back to Frajo there. I might end up going over to, yes, and there you can see Corella. She's deep down in a little den there. She's the largest one we have of the both. So speaking of Corella, I think we just showed you a picture of her. This is her recently, actually. in the back there. She had just gotten a hold of a cricket that was running around back there. So she's been becoming more active outside the tunnel. So when I first got her, she burrowed in. She was about to molt. So she spent a couple months underground when I got her and hadn't seen her. So I kind of got worried whether or not she was okay. But eventually she came back out and did eat. She's been eating very well, actually. Probably every few days I've been giving her a cricket or so, and she's been eating pretty well. Uh, let me see what else I got in the way. Yeah, there she is. You can see a little bit better here. Beautiful, beautiful striped knee. Initially when I got her abdomen, she had like kind of like a patch, like no hair, and it was patchy. And so now you can kind of see it's nice and bluish, the color that she is. And here again, this is when she's crawling around. So she's been getting a lot more active within the last few weeks. So obviously either she's hunting or just getting used to her environment. It's taking her a little bit of time. So really happy about that. And I think I have a video here. Yeah, so again, there she is. Kind of have it kind of weird with the camera, but beautiful, beautiful spider. I'm glad she's kind of getting around and adjusting well, and she looks healthy as hell. Beautiful markings. Look at those legs. She almost looks like they call it skeleton spiders, but obviously she's a striped knee. Costa Rican or Brazilian. I'm not sure which. I'm assuming probably that either sometimes they either conflict them with both, or she could be a Brazilian. But they say Costa Rican's gonna be a little more aggressive. But I don't know. It's hard to say because I think I've irritated her once when she was in her den and she was like rearing up and not wanting to play. But outside that, she's very, very docile. Like, she's skittish. She'll run when I open up the top or the opening. Like this time today, actually, I was able to open the door and she kind of stayed put in the back corner there. So I threw in a couple crickets and she managed to get one. And that was the picture you saw where she was chowing down on that. Also, if you have not followed me on the Metal Tavern Radio.com website or our where I put up my isopod and Springtail mix cleanup cruise. We also have an Etsy page. Just look up MTR Radio cleanup cruise on there. I am trying to sell them. I have an 8-ounce version of it and a 16-ounce version. Now, pricing, you might say, well, damn, dude, that's kind of expensive. But you have to understand the average price for an 8-ounce mixture of Springtails and Isopod mix is $45. I can't tell you why it's that expensive, but that's the run and go rate on the internet for 8 ounces. So you would think doubling that with 16 ounces like $90, but I actually sell mine for $75. Whether or not people are going to buy that, I don't know. I'm actually going to try to start going to reptile shows and stuff to see if I can kind of sell my wares there. I have currently 9 master cultures here. So all these like tubs that you see up on the shelves there, those are all master cultures of my Springtail Isopod mix, which I have mixtures of pink and white Springtails as well as orange, purples, and white dwarf isopods. So those are currently the mixtures you see. I have a few random zebra type isopods in those mixes, but because the white dwarves breed easier and they're unisex, so they don't need partners to breed with. But if you were to pay or buy some of my cleanup crews, you would get a mixture of all those species in there. 8 ounces are good for at least anywhere between 1 gallon and 7 gallon enclosures, whereas the 16 ounce is probably very good for 7 to 12 gallon enclosures. So just depending on what you need in that regard. So again, people say, well, why so expensive? But if you pay for isopods by themselves, it's about $13, and that's usually like 25 isopods. That's if they count them outright. Springtails run for about $7 by themselves. So whatever reason is, the mixtures, when I went to look on the average price per line per 8-ounce container, uh, which I should show you right here, is the two sizes. So the 8 ounce is the smaller one, and the 16 ounce is the larger one. So the smaller one obviously is 45, and I've actually gone to House of Tropicals and showed them my isopod mixtures and what is included. I include like a piece of bark, a piece of charcoal. Both springtails like charcoal and bark to breed upon. Isopods usually just go with bark, but I do put a little bit of sphagnum moss in there, as well as the soil that they're going to be in. And so they're good for cleanup crews, obviously for your reptiles and arachnids or whatever, scorpions, whatever. But they also, if you have like dart frogs, like they will eat some of the larger isopods as food. So in some ways it works on two different purposes. So obviously if you want isopods for just cleanup, they'll breed themselves while inside your enclosure, especially the bioactive ones. I actually use cleanup crews inside my cricket keeper for the feeders. So whenever crickets die off, like I was having a hard time keeping them alive. You might even actually hear them chirping a little bit. Initially, I didn't have them in soil, so the crickets were dying. It was getting stinky and nasty. So I tried my hand at putting them into another larger container with some soil, and I put the cleanup crew in there to help eat up any dead crickets or cricket poop and stuff like that, that they defecate all the time. That's the same purpose that happens with spiders and reptiles. The cleanup crews clean up all that crap. Here's a little bit of a video version of one of my master cultures with a little bit of heavy metal behind it. So you see they're all kind of in there. Smallest things in there are the springtails. There's a good healthy culture there of isopods going around there, and this is the kind of stuff you get along with these leaves and stuff like that into the containers. So yeah, there's a lot going on in there, and you get a nice little handful of those within these containers that you have. So if you're interested, hit me up anywhere on any of the Metal Tavern site or even on Facebook. If you are interested in this, I can take PayPal or whatever. Especially for you people who have larger, the hobby, like you have more of your critters. So if you're interested in this kind of stuff and you want me to send out some cleanup crews for your enclosures, I'll be glad to do that. Just hit me up and let me know. Yeah, so that's about it. I'm gonna try to get some feeding videos when I can, but I'm gonna need Missy to take the video for me while I'm feeding. I don't have the ability. I'm not that clever yet to have a camera on my head or something while feeding. So we're gonna try to get some feeding videos at one point if we can. So thank you all for checking it out. I'll try to give you another one when I can. Take care of yourselves, behave, and keep it metal.